the border. The plant produced some machines that currently were being shipped from a Caterpillar plant in Japan to North American customers. And so that means North American customers will get a faster delivery. Hmm. Okay, in return for creating 500 jobs in Texas, Caterpillar also got incentives from state and local authorities, including tax breaks and 320 acres of free land. Those jobs will include assemblers, engineers, and logistics experts. And so Dow Chemical Company is also building its headquarters in Midland, Michigan, and that's to design and make batteries for hybrid and electric vehicles. In addition, Dow aims to expand a pilot project also in Midland, in which it is making solar roof shingles that generate electricity. Such spending also creates jobs at suppliers. And so slowly, if we look closely at our newspaper articles and watch the various manufacturing industries and see all the players and what they have to say, there's some recovery to our economy. Although it's slow and cautious, it seems to be inching forward in certain areas, which is wonderful. Okay, and so this is also from the Des Moines Register. This is from the Friday, January 21st, which is yesterday's paper. Economic Chief proposes new development authority. This is going to be under Debbie Durham. She's Governor Branstad's new right-hand person over economic development for the state of Iowa. And so she's being introduced to her duties and making the rounds. And so here's something that the Register reported on. At the Iowa Economic Development Board meeting Thursday morning, board members expressed concerns about a plan passed by House Republicans to eliminate the Iowa Values Fund, the state's premier incentives program, and the Iowa Power Fund. And we've discussed the Iowa Power Fund extensively on this show. Its effect on the economy, its effect on emerging industry, its effect on job creation, job growth, and also Iowa's position in terms of renewable energy. Let's see. And the Iowa Power Fund designed to push renewable energy development. Durham said the Power Fund, now housed within the Economic Development Agency, will, quote, continue the good work of propelling renewable energy forward, unquote. Well, that's wonderful to read, and actually I felt very relieved when I saw it. It's towards the very end of that article, and then as I read, I kept hoping, and then there it was. I'm really glad to see that, and I'm hoping that we'll continue to protect our emerging manufacturing industry in terms of wind here in Iowa. And it looks like this indication is pretty positive. I'm really glad to see it. And I'm sure a lot of other people are too. The last article dwells on food. We've talked about food extensively because I like food, and then also because of my concern about the food desert here in Iowa, and then also just access to healthy food. This is coming from the Des Moines Register. It's an Associated Press article. It's right here at the bottom. Let's put it right there. Walmart will market more healthful food. Great. Who doesn't like healthy food? The nation's largest grocer said Thursday it will reformulate thousands of store brand products to reduce sodium and sugar and push suppliers to do the same. It promises to reduce prices on produce and build stores in poor areas without grocery stores. First Lady Michelle Obama said Walmart's plans have the potential to transform the marketplace and help Americans put healthier foods on their tables every single day. And so they've already done that in the city of Chicago over a great deal of protest from labor leaders in that area over wage and benefits. But there was a balance that had to be struck between access to jobs, access to wages, access to healthy food. And it's quite controversial. The Walmart did end up addressing that. They did create the Walmart there, but it did have a lot of issues to overcome. And so I think it's great for people to stay engaged and look at things from all sides. There's many sides to all issues. Okay. Let's see. Associate Professor of Economics at Ball State University, Michelle Hicks, weighed in on that. She says that it's a game changer, that if Walmart could reduce prices on healthy food and provide access to them in more places, you could have a measurable effect on the incidences of diabetes and heart-related ailments. And so that's her take on it. Although there are many sides to that same issue, I'm a fan of everyone getting involved, and I hope they do. Okay, so the topic of this show is Iowa, the place to be. And I couldn't decide whether to put a period at the end of that, an exclamation mark, or a question mark. So it can be, again, read many different ways. The Capital Crossroads study was what drove me to ask those questions. And I'll talk a little bit about what we learned. Again, it's 189 pages. The summary I'm going to give is going to be much shorter. Anyway, the scope of that study was a 50-mile radius from the state capital. And so that included the counties of Boone, Story, Marshall, Jasper, Marion, Polk, Warren, Madison, Dallas, and Guthrie. Who paid for the study? Because sometimes that affects the outcome. But anyway, the Greater Des Moines Partnership, Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines, Iowa State University, Des Moines Area Metropolitan Planning Association, Bravo Greater Des Moines, United Way of Central Iowa, Prairie Meadows Racetrack and Casino, and other key partners have retained National Consultant Market Street Services, and that's directly from the report. They compared Des Moines to other cities in our great nation, Omaha, Nebraska, Madison, Wisconsin, and then Denver, Colorado, for various reasons. There were 4 components to the study. The first one consisted of 50 one-on-one interviews with top Central Iowa leaders. They are not identified. All comments are anonymous, so there's no way of knowing who exactly they spoke with. Again, and then also 30 focus groups, that's the second component, representing Iowa's healthcare community, elected officials, top employers, young professionals, college students, high school students, higher educational and training officials, public and private K through 12 representatives, social services providers, minority leaderships, and others. So they were also part of the 30 focus groups. The third component was the online survey, and that was available for 6 weeks for everyone to weigh in. There were more than 3,500 responses, which was very, very high according to Market Street. And then there was another online survey, which was the fourth component, and that was specific to young professionals. And young professionals has been defined 2 different ways in this study, 22 to 40, and then also 25 to 39. So thereabouts, when they say young professionals, that's what they mean. And there were almost 800 responses from the young professionals. I don't know if there was any control for possible overlap with the larger online survey available to everyone. But, hopefully the responses work out, kind of similarly on both, so it doesn't skew too much. But anyway, there was great response in general from the focus groups, the interviews, and the surveys. The people on the surveys identified themselves. A majority of them, 25.1%, were ages 35 to 44. 24.7% of the respondents were 45 to 54. And then 23.1% of the respondents were 25 to 34. 90.4% of the respondents were Caucasian, and then the mixed race, those who chose not to answer, some people who wrote in other or chose other, Hispanics, Asian, African American, made up the remainder, that 10%, 9.6%. 85.5% of the respondents were employed, 6.5% were self-employed. The other remainder were students, military, the unemployed, and then the retired. 37.3% of the respondents, which was the majority, worked for 10 years at the same place of employment. 36.6% of those worked in finance and industry, which was the majority.